Well, it's time once again to take a look at some of our Alaska news stories for this Thursday morning. But first, a word from our sponsor, Inland Petro Service, Inc. at 451-1905. Once again, that's 451-1905. You know, if you're an Alaskan business, you know the importance of keeping your fuel dispensers working. If you've got a fleet of trucks, you know, obviously it's more efficient for you to buy fuel in bulk and pumping out there on site. Now, whether you're dealing with pipings to tanks, having the know-how to fix the mechanisms in the dispenser at 40 below, you know what, there's an awful lot that can go wrong in the wintertime with fuel. Also, during the summer, dealing with debris or dealing with water removal, that's no fun. That's why you should call Inland Petro Service. From fuel additives all the way to tank monitoring systems, line leak tests to third-party inspections, no job is too big or too small. Even point-of-sale installation and service, above and below, in or out, they do it all. That's Inland Petro Service. Give them a call at 451-1905 or check out their website, inlandpetroservice.com. From Bettles to McCarthy, Northway to Beaver Creek, there's no place too far. Inland Petro Service knows Alaska. Once again, their website is inlandpetroservice.com. Moving on now to our actual news for today. I don't know if you've heard what has happened here in Alaska. There was yet another tanker trailer that spilled fuel on the Richardson Highway in a wreck near Paxson earlier this week. Also, a stray dog in Anchorage was brought in for testing because he was acting very strangely. He'd been in foster care in a number of different places, ended up at a home in Anchorage, and the people doing the foster care for the dog are like, he's not acting right. Took him down. They put the animal down and found out that he did, in fact, have rabies. Also, a man was found dead in a wooded area in Juneau. They don't know who he was. They're trying to identify him. He was either in his 20s and 30s, Alaska Native male, had no identification on his body at all. Also, another person has died in custody in the Alaska Department of Corrections. This is a 22-year-old woman accused of killing her daughter. She had apparently tried to commit suicide when they found her at attempted life-saving, took her to the hospital where she remained until she died a couple of days later. Also, there's more marijuana news. It looks like a number of pot shops are opening here not here in Fairbanks, but in Alaska, down in Anchorage. 3 more are opening. And the Walrus Islands got designated as a National Historic Landmark. Also, speaking of landmark, the state has signed a historic landmark deal with a tribe to allow tribal prosecution of what they're calling low-level crimes. Now, a lot of the approach in the past has been kind of a territorial dispute with the state of Alaska trying to do all of the criminal prosecutions and trying to keep tribal power in check. With this agreement, they think it's going to save the state money in the long run. It's also going to increase the individual tribes' abilities to keep things settled on a local level, and it does not give somebody who is convicted in tribal court a state criminal license, or rather record. There have been a couple of vigils for people lost to heroin addiction around the state, and also a couple of other bits on pre-filed legislation, including one that would change how assault kits are handled. Apparently, a number of kits never got turned in after somebody was investigated for sexual assault. There was a woman who was missing on Tuesday in the Wasilla area, 60-some-year-old lady with dementia. They put out a silver alert, and they found her within just a couple of hours, safe and sound, down in Anchorage, which is like, 40-some miles away. And so they're touting that as the success, of course, of the silver alert program. Also, a missing boy, and 3-year-old. Family couldn't find him. They called the police. They came and they searched the area around the house, actually found the boy in a bedroom in the house. And the last story we have today is that Governor Walker has hired a political consultant by the name of Heckendorn, 26-year-old kid who has managed a number of successful political campaigns in the last year. He's now going to be special assistant to the governor. Salary not yet determined. We'll keep our eye on that one for you. And, of course, as always, if you've got a news tip for me, send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. My commentary today focuses on music and kids. I'd like you to check it out and tell me what you think. Once again, tell all your friends, become a sponsor through Patreon or through a direct purchase of a subscription, or by doing what Inland Petro Service did and by purchasing advertising. All that's a possibility. Once again, send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. Thanks.